Hey, thanks for checking out my video. Today I'll be talking about Rhino, and this is going to be a beginner's video. If this was your first time opening up Rhino, kind of what to expect, say you don't know any of the tools, how to navigate, about real basic guidelines in Rhino. So when you first open it up, there's 4 different viewports. You've got the top, perspective, front, and right. 95% of the time we'll be working in the perspective, just because that's the easiest to orbit around your model, see different views. But sometimes you'll flip back to the top or the front viewports if you want to do a 2D drawing or project a certain line or something onto your object. It's very easy to snap to on that in those views. But so if we go to perspective right here and we double click, that'll enlarge your viewport here. With your scroll wheel, you can scroll out. You can see that we've got the viewport set up. If you want to go back to either the top, front, or right, or any other viewport, you can make additional viewports. That's down here on the bottom left. So if I want to go back to top, I can scroll out, and then that's kind of like a projection straight down, a 2D projection looking down on the object. And let's just go back to perspective. It'll make a little more sense. If you hold the right mouse button, hold it down, you can orbit. That's kind of going to be your main tool that you're going to be using, orbiting around. It's almost as if you're in a drone flying around a house. You can rotate and spin around the model. Makes it real easy to use. Real easy to view different parts of your model. You can get to that same orbit button right here. Same thing now. I'm holding the left mouse button down right now. But then also up here on the toolbar, you can click the pan view. Right there, that's just a pan around. And again, scroll in and out. There's the zoom. We don't have anything drawn right now, so I can't zoom to the extent of them. But let's get into drawing. So what I really like about Rhino is there's multiple ways to do something. You could select over here on the left, you could select an icon, you could draw a box. I'll do it right now. So we'll just go corner to corner, we'll draw a box. Right now we're in wireframe, but most of the time I'll be working in the shaded viewport, just so you can really see what all the different faces are. Sometimes you can go to wireframe, and I got back to there by clicking this cascade display right here, the drop down, and here you can select wireframe, shaded, rendered, which could be nice. Normally I don't do my renderings in Rhino. I'll use a different plugin or a different software to make them more realistic, but this could be nice if you're in a pinch and maybe that's all you need to show your client is just a basic viewport like this. Ghosted could be nice, so you can see if different objects are intersecting. Same thing with wireframe, but ghosted kind of shows you where those planes are. Let's go back to shaded. So my original point was there's multiple ways to do the same thing in Rhino. So say over here we drew a box over here on the left by selecting that icon. I could do that same thing by going up here to this drop down. If I go to solid, box, corner to corner, just as I did before. Then if I draw up, there we go. And I was just selecting different points, pulling up for the height, just random for the example right now. That's 2 different ways. Third way that's super helpful is there's a command bar where you can just type in, same thing, box, and then corner to corner, and then up. I've got another box. It's very user-friendly in that sense that there's multiple ways to do something. Like say if you're super comfortable with the command bar and you just want to type in kind of what you know or what you're kind of thinking of, the command bar is pretty helpful with helping you out there. Or maybe you like just the ease of this box icon being right there, super quick and easy. another way to do a box right here, if you just go back to solid tools right here, this is the same as this solid pull down up here. So I click solid, and then if I go right here to box, I mean, we just got a box right there, same thing. So it's very user friendly in that sense, that there's multiple ways to do something, whatever you're most comfortable and easy for you. But yeah, right now I'm just holding down the right mouse button and orbiting around. So when we select an object, it's going to turn yellow. You're going to see this pop up. This yellow highlight will let you know that that's the only one selected. If you hold shift and then press the other objects, they'll also be part of that group. And you'll see up here on the top, you'll see one extrusion added to selection. If you hold control and then select the objects, it says one extrusion removed from selection. So you're deselecting the objects now. Or you could just click away. Like if you have a whole bunch of them selected, just click on nothing, it's going to deselect. Same thing. So if I select an object, right here this pops up. This is called the gumball. It's kind of a funny name, but that's just what Rhino calls it, and it's kind of a fun name for it. But basically these different arrows are going to be your X, Y, and Z. And you can translate, you can move these across, move it up and down. You can rotate. I'll just control Z because I don't want to get too crazy there. But if you hold this square right here and stretch it, you can scale in different directions. Now if I'm doing that, I can also hold shift and that'll uniform. It's going to be a uniform scale. Now if I was going to rotate and then I press shift, it's going to be 90 degrees for the rotate. Important thing there is you got to already start the rotation and then press shift so you can get 90. But yeah, similar, like I said, there's multiple ways to do something in Rhino, which makes it great. You can say, for example, if I wanted to move this, instead of selecting the object and then pulling it, if I wanted to go in a more calculated way, I could type in move and then point to move from. So I could select this corner and say I want to snap to this corner right there. Then we're perfectly lined up compared to if I was here and I was just moving this around trying to get it lined up where I'm like, I'm getting kind of close right there, but it's not exact. A better way would be move. And then you can select that corner and go right to that corner. So there's multiple ways to do similar techniques. Let's go back to standard. Now, one thing that's important with Rhino is, in 3D printing in general, is you want to have closed watertight objects. That's very important, is to have a solid poly surface. So right now we have a closed extrusion. That's good. Say if I wanted to take this cube and I wanted to send it to a 3D printer, I can. It's going to come out perfect. But then say if I exploded this object and then I deleted one of these planes, I mean, this will show as an open surface. Open surfaces are not good for 3D printing. Open surfaces are going to be a nightmare because you want to have this be a watertight object. Basically, if you're building a boat and you've got a boat with an open surface or an empty hollow in it, it's gonna fill up with water and it's not gonna work right. It's kind of similar technique there. So I'm just gonna Control Z because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far because this is a beginner video. But that's kind of one thing to keep in mind, is you want everything to be closed, you want everything to be watertight, you want to be very vigilant and just stay on top of that, but it'll just make your life easier in the end, versus if you get hours down the road, you made this amazing model, but then it's not watertight, it's not a usable 3D print. It can get messy to try and clean up later. So just try and model as efficiently as you can, and kind of trace your steps on where you could have gone wrong with a model becoming not watertight. But so let's say if I want to combine two objects and I overlap these two, I can select that and then press shift, and then right here is going to be your Boolean Union. Now Booleans are very I don't know if they're unique to Rhino. I know SketchUp has them as well. So the SketchUp Pro has Boolean Union and subtract. It's basically like merging the two together. So I've selected these two, and it says two closed extrusions. If I press Boolean Union, that's going to combine the two. Okay, created meshes. If I select on that, that's a closed poly surface. Right here in the properties is going to be, it's going to tell you all about the object. And right here where it says type, that's where you want to make sure that it's a closed poly surface. That's super important. Now if I Control Z, so it's basically like addition. Boolean Union is combining the two. Now say if I've got this cube and I want to subtract this cube from it, I can go to Boolean difference. That's going to be a subtraction, kind of like the icons. The icons kind of tell you what is going to happen. Subtract with, press this one, and then say delete input equals no. That means that once I press enter, it'll still show up on the screen, or if I change that to yes, that'll delete this object. For right now, I'll just press no. Now, if I just move this across, you'll see that this object was subtracted from this where it was overlapping with that other box. And that can be helpful if, say, that's where you wanted a 3D print. There you have it. And then you click on that, closed poly surface. Again, that's good. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. Closed poly surface. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the techniques. I guess let me know in the comments, what is it you want to learn in Rhino? I could do a video on that and kind of see what everybody's looking to accomplish with Rhino. I could go through different techniques here and kind of show you my workflow if there's something specific in mind. Yeah, maybe I'll go through each of these tools and kind of show you a breakdown of the different tools. Yeah, this video is more just kind of to get your feet wet and experiment with Rhino. Let me know in the comments what's something you like, what's something you dislike about it. Curious to hear what you have to say. If you like this video, please comment, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.